This cover is a canvas from my father. He was a Wall Street broker for many years, and then when he retired, he became a woodcut artist. And I was looking around for, I already had the title, Art Farm, and I think Phil and we were looking for cows to put on the front. And there, right in front of me, was my father's canvas, and somebody said, well, why don't you use that? Duh. So this is his woodcut Vermont Spring that he did many years ago. He's now deceased. I wanted to start with a joke, a New Yorker joke. You can all hear me, right? Was looking around for something I wanted to open with. I got this New Yorker calendar for 2015, and it's these two guys walking in a cityscape. It's freezing out. There's snow on the ground. One person of who knows what gender is all wrapped up in clothing, and the other one's in shorts and a sleeveless running suit. And the caption underneath, the more naked guy says to the other one, and by the way, this relates to us as poets and poetry and the world that we create, I dress for the weather I want, not for the weather I have. So I leave you with that. I'm going to start tonight, and actually in the spirit of John, who's a performance artist, I'm going to go random in this volume and just sort of freeform it. The first one I'm going to read is, curiously, about Henri Matisse. We were just discussing Henri Matisse and the last 15 years of his life. It's called Life After Life. This man lived the last years of his life in exclamation points. This man called those 14 years a second life. This is a man who, after colon cancer surgery, swung between a wheelchair and a bed. This 71-year-old man broke with his creative past, inaugurating what he called painting with scissors. This man's assistants prepared brightly colored paper for their master to cut into, and after Matisse finished, they'd pin them all over his room. This man worked for years, not knowing or caring what these cutouts would be. This man said about the collages, "As I am obliged to remain often in bed because of the state of my health, I have made a little garden around me. There are leaves, fruits, a bird." This man took 6 years to compile a book of dancing cutouts titled Jazz, based on the chromatic and rhythmic improvisation of the music he loved. This exclamation point man said, "Only what I created after the illness is my real self." This man believed it a privilege to grow old. I was a dancer with Martha Graham, as some of you know, but I'm going to read the first. I hitched on postmodern dance, and this was about dance in the 60s. After I was a dancer, I became a dance writer. And I was going to things that I didn't understand. It was a break with Martha Graham, who has story, character, build, drama, high drama. She was mostly either in myth, some myth or another, and there was a break called, and it was labeled postmodern dance, and John studied and worked with one of the leaders of the pack, as they were called, Yvonne Rayner and Steve Paxton. If any of you do contact improvisation, that Steve Paxton was the originator of that. Postmodern dance. I wanted to preface it too by this movement. Before, the precursor to postmodern dance was Merce Cunningham, and Merce is famous for saying, "My dances have a beginning, middle, and end, but not necessarily in that order." So, postmodern dance, based on a dance composition class taught by avant-garde musician Robert Dunn, a disciple of John Cage. The question is, what is dance? Simone Forti pulls up a chair, sits, and reads something off a piece of paper and calls it a dance. What do you mean that's a dance? Dance is the body in motion. Anyone can pull up a chair and sit, to which she replies, if I present something as a dance, it is. In the past, a dance was made up of story characters, the drama conveyed through highly trained bodies. But in this burgeoning aesthetic is a desire to be plain in front of an audience, to use trained and untrained people. The vocabulary consists of everyday walks, runs, jumps. The dismantling of what we've defined as modern dance begins. And I will say that a lot of the postmodernists, they go out on the street and they just invite people and they say, oh, we're doing a concert at the Judson Church. Please show up and, we'll tell you what to do. And then you would see 50 strangers mixed in with the group, just walking across a diagonal in the church and whatever. Okay, so this poem is called Offering, which is, it's a list poem, but it's a list of some of my favorite people who I've stolen from and who have inspired me deeply as a writer. Offering. Georgia O'Keeffe paints flowers with a bumblebee heart. Mark Rothko paints color fields with a tortured Russian heart. Jackson Pollock paints squiggles with a stunt pilot's heart. Martha Graham makes dances with a female observatory heart. Mary Oliver writes poems with a hummingbird's heart. David Hockney paints his dogs, families, and friends with a close-up heart. Sylvia Plath writes poems for unconsolable hearts. Ai Weiwei is sometimes criticized for painting with a too decorative heart. Kara Walker creates black silhouettes against white backgrounds with her slave history heart. Mikhail Baryshnikov dances to the beat of Nijinsky's heart. Tony Kushner writes plays and screenplays with a History Channel heart. Judy Chicago seats 3 mythical and 36 real women next to each other with her ceramic dinner party heart. And Hafiz writes poems about the intangible one with a God-hungry heart. Poets everywhere. The toddler who wonders, Does the sun have a mommy? A friend's woven silk voice. The farmer market salesman who tempts me with almond hummus without saying it's our most popular item. The writers who compose musical scores with punctuation. The ethnic grocers weighing each English word. The doves who coo my next-door neighbor and me awake. The MasterCard representative who blesses my loyalty. And you, dear reader, grazing among these words. Okay, I'm going to continue with my granddaughter. This one is called Toddler Muse for Isabel. She could be the Buddha's third eye, a zip code Cassandra. Minnie Mouse's ginormous ears, the better to pick up frequencies, my dear. She could be nostalgia's capital city, Dasher and Dancer, a family living on Rain My Heart Street. When she turns her toddler headlights on me and carefully enunciates, "We don't have much time left, Nana." She is primordial. She's incredible. But anyway. Phil, how am I doing? I've lost complete track of time. Okay. Since I read that one, let's go to this one. Operation Freedom. I had fun with this one. I kind of got more and more anarchic. I'm not sure that's the word, but I decided to take Mona Lisa off the wall of the Louvre and free her. Operation Freedom. Are you ready to be born, Mona Lisa? What? You refuse to become the archetypal, impenetrable woman? To have thousands feast on you? 5 centuries of fantasies stuck to your upper body and face? But what if you were a man? What if the artist who painted you imagined himself as a beardless woman? In creation, the self shows up. Let's remove you from the Louvre wall. La Gioconda is now tomb cold, unlike the real you who says, "I'm alive and well where no one can find me." I don't know if any of you know the surrealist artist Paul Delvaux. He was synonymous with, not synonymous, wrong word, but René Magritte and Delvaux. And he did these paintings of, actually, if you know the Keen Eyes, you know the artist Keen Eyes, he was the precursor of the Keen Eyes. You know Delvaux, right? And they're naked women from the hip line up, and they just stare out. They're empty-eyed, and they stare out at the canvas. And there's often a man with a bowler hat, a black suit, and a bowler hat, either with his back to the audience, to the viewer, or somewhere located in the painting. The men are often dressed, and this one black-suited, bowler-hatted guy always shows up with the naked women. So this is, I imagine putting a sign above one of his paintings. Sign above a Paul Delvaux painting of many nude women, one nude man, and a black-suited man in a bowler hat. Quote, "There shall be no touching, kissing, licking, or copulating with the several naked-breasted women below. The empty-eyed, bare-chested models are there to titillate the nude man and the one in the bowler hat. These females represent how men objectify women. However, their boobs must remain untouched. Any attempt to defile them will be dealt with swiftly and without mercy. Yeah, that was, I like being silly. Just one more? Is that okay? Two more? I don't have that many. Okay. You know what? I'll read what it was like to be a dancer with Martha Graham. Messages. The body, oh, the body never lies, Martha Graham decreed. We dancers hung on her every word, as if they belonged in a museum, as if they would carry us to ecstasy's promised land, where Moses saw a burning bush, where Joan of Arc heard voices, where every day the extraordinary was a must. This was the artist I fed off during my 7-year life membership as a Martha Graham disciple. Dance was a verb before it was a noun. I steal, but only from the best. I've had my failures and I just kiss them goodbye. Take off the fig leaf. Oh, those learned thoughts from the Picasso of the modern dance world, demanding we move from the base of our spines, where feral fires ignite. And this is the last one. This is all of these poems were written in Ellen Reich's emeritus class down in Malibu. I recommend it. And this was the first poem I ever wrote. Ellen gave a prompt that I've since lost what the prompt was, but this is what started the run for Ellen. Leonardo on the run. Wake up, brush teeth, make smoothie, skim Da Vinci's Annunciation, where Angel Gabriel in C-SPAN wings broadcasts to Virgin she hosts a son. If Adam and Eve are of one body, is not the Genesis God who imagined gender a vessel for these male-female elements? Down vitamins? Oh, forget food shopping. Revel in Leonardo's sumptuously clothed Florentine models. How Gabriel, pointing to Mary's womb, kneels to this everyday woman who's to give birth in a stable, though you'd never guess it, from the fold after fold in her autumn silk apparel. But it's spirit that matters, where every woman and man, pregnant with possibility, is imbued with the yin-yang life force. Call plumber. Thank you all.